of knowledge of self along with communication,
Exactly.
because a lot of people aren't aware of what they want. They have this very superficial list, but they don't have the list that has the important stuff on it.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, you know what, folks? My apologies. Let's get Shannon here real quick.
Hey,
My
Shannon.
apologies, folks. I thought I
Hey,
actually hit. Hey, how's it going? I
good. What's
thought I
going
actually hit the live button, and actually I didn't. I'm doing 1,001 things over here with connecting to the Instagram folks. So 23,000 folks that now connected, but thought I did and I didn't. I'm trying to figure out what was going on with it.
So
But
I
my
was in the
apologies.
right link. It was all your fault.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
My
Just wanted to
apologies,
make sure
folks.
that was clear.
So what we're going to do is we're going to run that clip from last week back again, real quick
Hmm.
for the viewing audience. One
Okay.
second. There's a ton of miscommunication with the sexes, man. Like one's dating, the other's courting. And I don't think we communicate effectively at all.
Hmm.
We need to be effective communicators. Even at this age, I know 50-year-olds who do not know how to communicate, male and female. But okay. So that was a clip from last week talking about effective communicating. And in my personal belief, I truly believe that the reason why there's a ton of friction on the platforms and all these different podcasts when they talk about relationships, not just romantic relationships. I'm talking about relationships overall, you know. And like I said in the clip, I know people even in my age bracket who do not effective communicate. They don't have the knowledge to communicate exactly what they want or what they're looking for or what they need. And this is where we fall short, in my opinion.
Well, here's the question: do they know what they want?
That's very
Good
true.
question.
Right.
Good question.
So do here I have a problem. People say that people don't know how to communicate to them with them. I ask people, how are you communicating to others? Because some people can be very standoffish, and it will put other people on the defensive, especially if you use a lot of you terms versus
Right.
I terms, right? So it's all communication is a give and take. That's like a lot of people love people the way they love to be loved, not the way the person loves wants to be loved. That's why I tell everybody
Absolutely.
they should be reading the love languages books, so they
Hmm.
know how that other person wants to be loved.
Exactly. So I invited Urs back.
Mhm.
She's running a little late. But as I was actually cutting the clips out from these topics, she was effectively communicating how she was and how she was moving,
Mhm.
which I thought was very noble of her. And hold on one sec. That's her
Oh,
texting
is it?
now.
Okay, good.
And Martine's here. Hey,
So
Martine.
what's going on, my favorite Detroiter?
She said I was having this conversation earlier today.
Yeah, so I thought that was very noble of her, the way she was communicating that, right? And as I was, going back, cutting, different tapes out and all that stuff, and I'm like, wow, she's really saying what she's doing and she's,
Well,
verbal with everyone that she's talking to or that she's dating, right? So I didn't
Hmm.
I didn't see a problem with that at all. That's called adulting in my world.
It's called what?
Adulting,
Oh,
like
okay.
being an adult about things
why do you seem
instead
so
of playing
surprised
games
though?
and whatnot. Go ahead.
Why do you seem so surprised she does that?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not
Okay.
surprised at all. I've been knowing her for just as long as I've been knowing you. I'm not surprised at all. But I'm surprised that with all the talking we were doing back and forth, and whatnot, she kind of got lost in the sauce. And partly that's my fault because just moving the show along and whatnot. But I think this is where
You,
we failed as
you
far
were
as
not talking over her, were you, sir? Don't make me go back.
Oh,
So,
I had to fill you in. I don't think
what up, Urs?
did you invite Mark back this weekend?
I didn't get in touch with him. I didn't
is
get, I
that
think
Miss
he's
Ursula?
working. I think he's working.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
So
Urs, what's going
I
on with
think
you?
I think I'm gonna log in
Hi.
because I see a delay on my device.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Y'all can hear me?
we're good to go. So yeah, again, so like I was saying, talking about the effective communicating and I truly believe, and this is my personal opinion, because I got some flack, I got some email on saying that, courting is a lost art. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Here on the conversation, I call it Gumbo Talk. Everyone gets a chance to give their opinion and how they feel and whatnot. So it's just my opinion. I truly believe that courting is a lost art. It is, you know. And when I say dating, are we courting or are we dating? I truly believe that people are defining the dating completely different from everybody else who's actually looking forward to courting and getting to know a person. These days, in today's climate, dating is humping around, in my opinion.
Hmm.
It's just my opinion.
Yeah, but there's dating and then there's dating with a purpose. Dating with a purpose would be the equivalent of courting. They just don't
Yeah,
call it that because it's 2024, sir. So,
I get it.
I'm
I get
sorry.
it.
But dating
I
with a
get it.
purpose is the same is the same thing because you're dating with the intent of marriage with that one specific person, with a future relationship with that one person.
Right.
But just because somebody's dating, that doesn't mean they're sleeping with everybody that they're dating.
I get that. I totally get that
No,
as
you
well. I
don't
totally
because
get
you
that
just
as
said they're
well.
hunching around. So that means
That's just my opinion, D. That's all.
all right. Well, you're wrong again because And here's the thing: you have to date multiple people because not every person is your person.
Come
You
on.
like
First of all,
what?
we have a different outlook on the whole dating multiple people and all this stuff and all these dating pools and whatnot. I mean, come on, man. I mean, we're grown. We're all grown, yes. But if you don't know by talking and communicating with a person, if that's your person, you don't need to be dating. That's my opinion. But you don't have to have a slew of
are you
people in
gonna let me
line.
talk or are you gonna let talk over me today? Is this what this is all about today? Because
Oh,
Go
I'm not
ahead,
here
D.
wait a
for
minute.
it
Wait a minute.
right
Wait a
now.
minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Sorry, I'm back. So what did I come into? You just
Gotcha. Go ahead. Finish the thought. Finish
Because
the
I was trying to explain to Trent what dating and dating with purpose is, and that you have to go on multiple dates before you can realize. Because a lot of people will send you their representative for the
absolutely.
first 6, 7, 8 dates,
I
right?
agree.
So you have to figure out if who they are is what they're really saying they are, right? Because people are shady. People will hide, especially if there's some insecurities and they're not ready to be vulnerable, be a safe space for somebody. You can't say that dating multiple people just because you don't know your person within 5 minutes,
I'm
right?
not saying 5 minutes, D. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying.
Don't
So
make me
what kind
work.
of a time frame are you trying to give
My whole point is, and I'm not disagreeing with you guys at all. But my
okay.
whole point is, take the time to know a person. Take the time. That's courting. That's a part of courting. Take the time to know a person, their likes, their dislikes, or what have you, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a speed dating type situation. I'm not saying don't date. Yeah, go ahead, do what you got to do. I mean, you're grown, but take your time, communicate. If you communicate effectively, you won't run into those bumps, in my opinion.
I
Sir,
mean,
even in the 1800s, women dated multiple men before they figured out which one they were
I
going to
get it,
court.
but y'all act like y'all not hearing what I'm saying to you.
No, I'm
maybe
hearing what you're
maybe I'm
saying.
not
You're not
understanding
listening.
what you're saying.
What I'm saying is courting is a lost art.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lost art. No one's actually courting, taking the time to get to know one another. Of course, you're going to date with you went out with a sociopath. Of course you did
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't take your time to have a conversation with him. You're rushing to dinner, doing all this stuff. What happened? Talking to some folks on the phone, having a conversation.
Well,
That's just my opinion.
you tell us what happened to talking on the phone, because I have people who want to text me will text me to death, and it's like if
I
I
don't.
weren't
Yeah,
so and I will just say it's not. I'll be honest. I put it out there. I am not the pursuer. I am not going to chase men. I believe that I prefer that men pursue me. I'm not going to come out there and chase you, and you have to be intentional about what it is that you want. However, in our lovely technology age, a lot of men, for whatever reason, will just text you to death. And I'm the type of person, because I know me and I like to have conversation. I like intellect. I know myself already to be a sapiosexual.
again. Courting
Hold on,
is a
you're
lost art.
interrupting me, Mr. Epic. This is only week 2 for me, sir. Give me a second. You already rushing back. Now you made me lose my train of thought, so go ahead and go.
Again, courting is a lost art. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
That's
but
all I'm
we
saying.
said that last week.
But looking back at the tape, I don't think we effectively communicated that and where the show was going.
No,
You know
we didn't. We didn't. That's because your friend Slash decided he wanted to make things very personal between what he felt Ursula and I do in our personal, our rotations we may have or bench warmer. I don't know, but
The term he referred to us as serial daters.
Yes, serial daters. And I'm like, I don't know where he got that from.
There's nothing wrong with being a serial dater,
I mean,
though.
that's fine.
Well,
it's fine for
since you
whoever
said
wants
that,
to do it, but he decided to make it. We needed to hear about it. He decided to turn the conversation turned more to that, and more so based on for Ursula and I and how we may handle our personal dating life.
since you said that, D, what does the serial dater look like, in your opinion, in your professional opinion?
A serial dater is somebody who's going on multiple dates looking for their person. Y'all are making people make this out to be much more subversive than it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're going on multiple dates. You're not going to find that person on that first date. The second date. People are very good at not sharing their vulnerabilities. And to be honest, you need to not share your vulnerabilities on those first 3 dates. Because if somebody is an abusive personality, they seek out people who will give them too much information up front. Right? So you have to take your time to find the person. Like, yes, communication is important, but you have to ensure that the person that you're talking to is actually the person you're talking to, not somebody who's giving you an image of what you want. Like if you tell somebody, I want this, this, and this, some people will give you exactly this, this, and this until they have you, and then they won't do that anymore.
Again, I totally get that. Totally get that. Right? Totally get that. So, I mean, there are crazy people on both sides of the spectrum.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy people on both sides of the spectrum. All I'm saying is, let's get back to courting so we can actually start vetting these people completely out. All this speed dating and all these multiple people, you're confusing me. God damn.
Well, you need to be able to multitask.
Ursula, go ahead, Ursula.
Coach D, he's like,
can I read some comments, please?
Like he doesn't know how to multitask. He's just, I guess this is his rebirth. I don't know, but he acts like he doesn't understand that.
Good evening, Albin. Martine says, check this out. This guy reached out in January of this year and has had my info for nearly 3 years. He was surprised I didn't remember him. We met at an event and I didn't remember him. I'm dating and trying to get to know more than one man because instead of thinking that one dude is it, we need to see the difference between these type of guys versus that type of guy. Word up, you can't spill your beans to folks. Yeah. So, you know what? There's absolutely nothing. This whole courting is dead. You need to stick to one man, please.
So courting is a lost art. And I didn't say stick to one man. I said courting is a lost art.
Well, you literally said that you have to talk to the one person that you need to court them to get to know them. That's sticking to one person, sir.
That is what you said.
Go ahead.
So,
come on, Ursula.
We're gonna say the same thing I said last week. We're gonna take it from the top. There's courting, and then there's dating.
Yep.
So, dating does not need to be unpacked. Okay, you meet somebody. Dating is coffee. You can go to a coffee shop. You just kind of get an idea about the person, and if you want to see them again for another date. Courting is more specific, and it's more to like, I'm interested in you. So I think we need to be clear on when we are dating people, if it looks like it starts to mirror courting where you're spending too much time, now we to the point of sleepover, Valentine's Day gifts, Christmas gifts, we spending holidays together. Now we courting, and that looks different because you can go on a date for Christmas. That doesn't mean you're courting. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Oh,
so
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ursula.
So courting is the thing you need to be specific about. People can date, and I think that's kind of what's wrong. Like by people labeling, we're quick to label things instead of trying to get an understanding with each other. Like Mark said last week, what are y'all, serial daters? It's things like that. It's labels that make make dating it's frowned upon. You know what I mean? It's like just being like when we were younger, teenagers, and trying to explore the options that you may like in a person or in different things, and you don't get that opportunity because we labeled, females when we was in college that was probably so-called dating, but they had multiple partners or something like that. Like we are quick to label, and men, I hate to say it, but men more specifically, Mark labeled the dating thing that we was doing like serial, and it almost gave us like this frown upon us because we're choosing to,
I know.
weigh our options out. Is he trying to get on the show?
I know. Hey, Kobe.
He does it all the time.
Yeah.
Aw.
I think he just wants some attention. He's cute. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with dating. I think when you're dating somebody, if you find like you're on your, 10th date with this person and they're showing up a little bit more often than usual, then date, you need to have another conversation. That's it.
Right.
Because it is courting. And sometimes we don't let people know, hey, this is looking like we are a couple, and then you need to discuss that. It should be discussed, because sometimes people just automatically assume that we together because we've been seeing each other and sleepovers and everything, and you really could just be a date, still stuck in the dating phase, because I think oftentimes men have done that. They have the main girl, and then they have other people that they may date, but nobody really knows.
Oh, we got disconnected from hold on one sec.
I know. Let's go to Martine. Has some good comments. She says women have been trained to be on pause for that first guy who says hello. Yes, I believe that. I would agree with that, Martine.
Repeat that. What did she say?
He says women have been trained to be on pause for that first guy that says hello.
Yeah.
And then, for me, I think it's men. I feel like men have always been able to have options, or always have had options between, deciding which woman they want to actually be exclusive with. But all of us, for some reason, it's frowned upon if women do the same thing.
Right.
It's a huge double standard.
Yeah.
And Martine says, yep, courting, in my opinion, means that the man sees you as more than a roll in the hay and steps it up to more than just kicking it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so a lot of problem is people don't have that "what are we" conversation, because people don't want to define a relationship.
Right. Now we get into the meat and potatoes. Now,
right.
This is all I was trying to convey. Getting to know a person and both parties opening up. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I'm not saying open up on the first date, but if we speed dating through this thing, how are we really gonna slow down and really understand one another?
What is speed dating, though?
Yeah,
how do you define speed dating?
To me, speed dating is, and this is me personally, my opinion. I got a date Friday, but Sunday evening, I got Mary coming through. I'm confusing myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's speed dating, or is it like that?
To me, in my opinion, like a back-to-back date.
So having seeing multiple people to you is speed dating?
To me.
Okay. I mean, no, it's important that we kind of define or
I'll give you an example. I'll give you guys an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as I was humping around early in my earlier days and whatnot, I would hump around continuously.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I would confuse these women. Like I would
a lot of times you're probably confused. A lot of times.
I would into the meat and potatoes. Okay, yes.
I would truly confuse myself. Like, damn, I would find myself slipping up saying something to one that I said to the other, thinking that I was talking to the same person.
Say it ain't so, Romello. say it ain't so.
Hey, that's what it is. That's what it
All right.
is.
And then y'all have the nerve to be judgmental over women. Again,
Right. Right. Let me just add on. It's okay. I'm not beating up on you at all, friend. You know, I love you, Trent. But that's the whole thing. Like, you know, for many years, like a woman just do 1/3 of what men do, and like we get labeled. And
I've
we'll
never
get
denied
labeled
that.
like gardens. I know that. Yeah, okay, you know, we get like the garden tool, you know, label because we too friendly or something. But we only trying to like really just like make sure, like, I guess our counterpart is just making sure it's the one. You see what I'm saying? Like, and so that's how we've come to where we are today. Where now we're getting, because like Martine said, we're told to just pause at that one person. Or we're trained to pause at that one person. And let me just say this. To our other females of different cultures, you know, don't settle as quickly as we do. Even though they know they're going to college, they know they're going to get degrees, they're looking to settle. They're not really all the time, you know, 45 to 50% of the time planning to even use their degree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going off the topic here, but their parents are exposing them to more opportunities for what that may look like. And they don't get labeled from their people. You know what I'm saying? You know, but a lot of times, you know, in our African American culture, we do. You know what I'm saying? And it does create a situation where you limit yourself so much, you know, just like this topic we're having, dating versus courting. You can never get to courting if you know you are scared to really date, you know, and you gotta stop at one person.
That's my whole point in writing this thing up like that. Or recording,
Right,
or we're dating. D, what you
right.
got to say?
I think it's just semantics. So here's the thing: when people are dating, you have to date multiple times, multiple people, right? Because what happens if you meet somebody at a coffee shop and you ignore them? They're like, "Oh, I can't go to this because I'm talking to this person, even though I'm not sure it's going anywhere." And you can just say
Right.
no to your man, to your future, or to your future.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some people are dating just to date for companionship. They don't want to court anybody because they don't want a future relationship. But there's nothing wrong with that, right? Not everybody needs to be in a relationship. You're not complete because you've got a man or you've got a spouse. What?
Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes.
If you keep saying that, sir, I'm gonna like.
Because
Here's the thing: when you have these conversations, are people really listening to what people are saying?
Mm-mm.
No, they're not.
Right?
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
are we talking around each other, or are we talking about exactly what our wants and needs are, and then other people are like, well, these are my wants and needs? That doesn't mean you're courting. You can just have conversations. You have to have conversations before you even get to the point where you can go, okay, our goals, our values, our beliefs are similar. This could work. That takes time.
Yes.
You
Anna, you
can
were
get
saying
multiple
something.
people and do that.
Yeah.
Just because one person can't multitask and date multiple people doesn't mean other people can't. Right?
Okay.
I just don't want to lose Martine's comments because you know she'll get on us. And she last week she got us. So she did say that she was agreeing with you, Ursula. She says that what people will say that we sound bitter or like a hoe if we say we have options. And
Right.
one happens in person doesn't make them the one, which is why you need to check out a few different personalities traits. Oh my God, Martine. Okay. She says, she says, I certainly don't want to be on WTF Did I Marry, that whole viral TikTok thing from Tisa.
Oh,
And
wow.
she said her friend's mom suggested to us years ago to see more than one guy. She told us how for years she was unhappy because of going straight to his house right out of high school. But you know, wasn't there a song that Smokey Robinson did that directed us? That what was it? Shop Around.
Yeah.
So, but you know, one of the things I was thinking about, Trent, when we were initially discussing doing this topic on the show was not so much about are we courting or are we dating, defining where we are in a relationship, but it was more about, at least what I thought was the lost art of courting and how men do court or don't court women or pursue women. Or maybe pursue could also be a better word, or intentional
Yeah,
about
but
women.
Yeah.
we just not
Not
gonna lump it on
necessarily
one side though.
not necessarily defining or trying to say what are we doing, if we're asking if are we courting or are we dating. So for
I
me,
get
when I
it,
think of
but
courting, I think of it being something more exclusive. And I think Ursula, I think you had just mentioned it, is that sometimes we can get out, it's not fair to get caught up in just talking to one person and totally miss out on somebody else, and then realize that first person we were talking to was just like, it just didn't go anywhere, and I've just cut everybody else off. So it has to get to a point, I think, just like with men, when you guys, after a certain amount of time, kind of have a knowledge, I guess, of what type of where a woman, how you were going to categorize a woman in your life, whether she's somebody that has wife potential, long time potential, or just rolling the sack potential. I mean, would that be accurate? Did you have? And I'm going to just ask you. You're a man. Did you kind of, I'm sure, categorize women in the past as far as how they would be in your life? True, not true?
I mean,
No, it's just true.
rephrase that again.
Wait a minute, hold on. Just true or not true?
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
I'm saying, would it be an accurate statement, not for all men, but for most men? But I'm asking you, from you personally, with you, since you've had a past where you dealt with a lot of women, where you basically knew how to categorize women in your life, whether they were people that would be around for long term, or they were, or in relationships, or whether they were just good for the sweat.
And this is what when I spoke on
Hold on, you didn't answer the question. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I spoke on a rotation, that's what it really was, a rotation. So they were categorized. But here's the thing. I effectively communicated that. I wasn't in a committed relationship.
I'm not gonna go there with you tonight. I'm gonna let you have it tonight.
Again, I effectively communicated that. I really did. And here's the thing. Even if let's just say if I didn't, right?
On side, you know me a butter.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Even if I didn't communicate that, how they met me, they knew I was.
You can't say if you don't communicating. You can't say that somebody knew what your intentions were, or where they fell in your life, or how you saw them in your life. You just talked about effective communication and how.
To answer your question, the 23-year-old me, I categorized them.
Right, but I don't think it's. You can say that if you didn't communicate with them and weren't very specific with them as far as what their role and their place in your life was, you can't just assume that they knew.
I was 23.
And you're saying that I get.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, but you made a different statement, and you're saying based on how they met me, but no, not necessarily. You can't just assume just because of who you were and what you were doing back then that they had that understanding of what their role in your life was.
I was reckless.
I mean, that's fine, and I get that. I'm just getting to the point of the communication, because you keep talking about, which is true, the communication piece. That's the only point that I'm getting to.
Yeah.
I have some comments. Marcus says, I pursued one at a time. I ran through women a long time ago, but my feet hurt now.
Boom.
Martine says, you cannot think that you're serious with everyone that you're dating. Then Marcus says, dating isn't serious. It's a feeling out process. If you keep it 100, then we all know what is going on. Now, if we decide to move forward with the person, then the rest gets cut off. Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
And
appreciate you for tuning in, Marcus.
It takes a moment to see what's what with a person. Can't be allowing people to know where you reside, employed, etc.
Right.
Yeah. And he's right. But in order to get to that one person, you sometimes have to get through multiple people on multiple dates. Right?
That's not fair to yourself. You know, we do a disservice and a dishonor to ourselves when we don't give ourselves grace. And, you know, in order for a little kid to learn how to walk, they have to fall down a whole bunch of times. But boy, when they start running, you appreciate the times that you fell down. So, you know, as a kid, as an amateur, I fell down so many times. I would like to really talk about how I learned how to ride a bike. I mean, I had to take a lot of hits on learning how to ride a bike. I'm still I'm 50. plus years old and nursing wounds from back then. So you can't not have grace for yourself when you do put yourself out there and someone says or they don't feel the same. It is okay. That person only gives you that brick to move forward to another person, and you cannot throw the towel in. You gotta, gracefully move forward towards your person. Because sometimes people don't even give us a hint that they're not our person. We know they're not our person. They just don't give us the hint that they're not our person. So we have to read the room a lot of times. That's how we are where we are and why we having this discussion, because for the four of us, we probably had to read the room and figure it out. Okay, this person isn't where I am and how I'm feeling about them, but that doesn't mean you stop. That means you move forward. That's, onward and upward, right, D?
Yeah, exactly.
Just because your job fire you don't mean I ain't working no more.
Martine says there are far too many old burnouts who still trying to play around. Then once they get tired of their shite, they want to rush a woman into being exclusive. Listen, we don't even want to start talking about the community peen who thinks they're a princess and everybody should be falling all over them when they're low effort.
This is not. I knew you were coming with this.
Wait. No, but
it's true though, because we had this discussion and Mark said he wouldn't go to. Remember we talked about dating. If a woman asked, would you go here to get this for me, right? And he said no. So here's the problem: there are so many men who are like that are low effort that can't even plan a date, right? Like if you ask a woman out and then go, "What do you want to do, sir?" Figure it out.
Exactly. Again.
Figure it out.
Again.
I don't know. I don't think so, D. I'm sorry, D. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think so. No.
You don't think
that's not the right answer.
Wait. What do you disagree with, Ursula?
So if someone asks you to go out and then they say, "Hey, what do you want to do?" I think that the fact asking someone out and then asking them what do they want to do, I think sometimes it could really be like, what are your likes and dislikes? I don't want to disappoint you with a date, So let's just use the movie Hitch. Y'all remember that movie?
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much. Yeah. Very
well. So I don't know if we're allowed to say stuff like that, but remember how he came up with a date of what he wanted to do with the lady star actor and actress in the movie, and it was a fail. The pamper got stuck in the jet skis. He brought her to a museum. She started crying because it brought up old bitter family history. Someone asking you out and then asking you what do you want to do? I think they're just trying to make sure that they please you, while they spend time with you. And it doesn't mean to pause with that person either, like pause here, but do honor the fact that somebody's willing to check in with you to see what it is you would like to do.
But Miss Ursula, these people are waiting until you actually pick you up on the date to ask you what you want to do, which means they haven't had any conversation. They haven't planned nothing. That's a whole. I still say, I'm sorry.
Honestly, there are again when the topic was written up, I said courting is a lost art. I wasn't talking about women.
Right.
I was talking about men.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about men, and both of you guys are right.
Yeah.
The majority of men, they really don't think about stuff like that. I'm being honest. They don't think about plan ahead on the date. They don't.
I get that, but it's also about in that process, because I'm not going to talk to someone just one time before I decide to meet them in person. I need to see if it's worth my and I don't want to say this, it's not being cocky about worth my time to meet you in person, but it's like that's
right.
When I give you my time, I can't get that back. So
I don't
want to waste it. Right. So when we have dialogue and conversation, and I'm not talking about just text, because after a certain point in time, I don't want to text you. I need to hear a person's voice. I need to know that they can hold conversation. I need to know that what, hear the inflections and tones and things in their voice and all of that kind of
I
stuff.
like that.
However,
I like that.
in the course of my conversation or dialogue, I'm finding out, okay, the things about them. What do they like? They find out things about me. I'll be honest. I'm like, D, I want you to put some effort into taking me out. It's not going to be a surprise to you that you really should have to ask, because during the course of our dialogue, if I tell you, oh, I enjoy Kevin Hart movies, or I enjoy whoever, love horror movie, whatever, and you want to pick a movie and say, then you should already know those. Those are things, those are easy things to plan. So I don't think it takes a lot of effort to be listening to someone when you're and asking, but also asking the right questions so that you have in your mind, okay, I know she likes this. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to men being intentional when it comes to pursuing women. If she's telling you that I like flowers just because, don't say, well, I like sending fruit baskets. I just told you what I like.
Exactly.
And so
The
part of that
newsflash,
is also
though.
understanding what referencing back what Dee said, people's love language. You can't express love or like to someone based on how you receive it. They're only going to receive it in the way that speaks to their love language. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of men sometimes fail.
I get it. But newsflash, if the guy's not doing it, he's not going to do it.
Right. And guess what? He's not your person.
Exactly.
Well, I want to say some more. I got to say some more. I don't know where I'm going with this tonight, and Lord, I don't know who I'm touching, but you gotta give people a chance.
No,
you gotta give people a chance. You have to.
A chance. Low effort doesn't get a chance.
We gotta give people a chance.
No,
that's part of our problem, y'all. Look, I'm not saying.
Hold on, first. I know where she's going with that. Hear her out when she talked about the low effort. We talked about this last year.
I heard that. I know exactly what we're talking about. I know about the low effort.
Too low. The bar is too low. The people are digging underneath the bar, ma'am. Don't give them a chance. They need to put the effort in.
So
no.
Go ahead.
Dating.
Hold on. Go ahead, Ursula. Let's hear your point.
Dating versus courting. Okay, you have talked to a person enough to know you don't mind dating. Now they're dating you, and you're moving towards courting. At the point of courting, that's when the effort really needs to. When somebody's trying to pursue you, that's dating. To be more specific, we're courting after the conversation. I do agree with like low volume effort. Like don't shortchange now that we've identified that we would like to. I guess the old term is go steady. That's courting. Now we going steady. I don't agree with the minimal effort, but I do disagree with when somebody is dating you and trying to get to know you and they don't. You have to have grace and, sometimes show people how to treat you, show them, you have to show people like, this is the things I like. This is the things I don't like, and that'll tell you, I'm not going to date you. You didn't even put any effort in with, I don't want to be specific with you. I don't want to just go you and me go steady with you.
But I would I'm just thinking if you're vetting people, listen, dating to me would be the vetting process. If you're talking to multiple people and trying to figure out who you like, I would think the one who's most intentional about their pursuit of you, depending on what you like and what you want, plays a part in who you decide not to move forward with. So I do think there has to be some intention and there has to be some effort. And I mean, to each his own. At this big adult age that I am at, I don't have time for people who don't want to put effort into relationships, because I put a lot of effort into relationships when I'm in one, and I need to be able to reciprocate the same thing that I put out. I need to be able to get that back, and I need to see that. So I'm definitely not for low effort people. I'm just not, because I'm not low effort when it comes to being engaged and involved in that and a part of that relationship.
And if you're giving them grace in the beginning, you'll be giving them grace when you're at your divorce hearing.
Amen to that. I can attest to that.
Because if they're not going to put effort in when you're dating, they're not going to put effort in any other time. We don't lower the bar, we raise the bar. Right? This is the effort you need to put in. Because guess what? If you want somebody to be your person, you need to make darn sure that they are putting the effort in at the beginning. How you get them is how you lose them. Right? No effort at the beginning, no effort at the end. Why are you lowering your standards? Right? Each person that he's a treasure, you're a treasure, you should be treasuring each other. There should be effort, right? Yeah. Everything that's worth it is always is always hard to get. Right? You have to put effort in. You want 100 on your exam, you got to study. Right? You want to go on a good date, you need to study that person you go on a date with. If somebody tells you they don't like roses and seafood, you don't take them to a seafood restaurant and give them roses because you weren't listening. Right? We've been down that road. We've had that conversation.
Martine said a lot of guys are low effort. And so she said, back to this dude who decided to reach out to me after nearly 3 years. He did call, yet the call was brief. She says, I have no idea why he took that long to reach out and has not been consistent with contacting me. She said he did share a photo of us from back when we met. And she says, I don't feel that I need to give an adult dude that much of a chance. Yeah, chances are for taking exams when you're working toward new employment in a higher degree.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. I think that's fair.
But I think at this
I'm not gonna agree with y'all.
I get it, and that's fine. But for me, I just think at this point in time, I know a little bit. I know more about me and who I am and what I want and what I don't want than I did 20 years ago, 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago. And I just don't want to. Honestly, I just don't want the BS. The biggest pet peeve for me is the lack of consistency with men, and that is not uncommon. What Martine has, had experience. I've never had someone after 3 years, but I've had some people that just, all out of the blue. And they act like you're supposed to know who they are. I'm like, what? Like I had somebody do that to me months ago from like a year ago, almost a year ago. And, after he told me who he was, I nicely just went ahead and blocked his number. Like, no, I'm not wasting.
So wait a minute. So did this guy ghost you or something?
I think if I remember correctly, he actually came, he lived, I want to say, in another state. He came to Atlanta. And he actually ordered cookies. I don't know what it is. Maybe people feel that just because they ordered some cookies, that's our relationship is going to happen. But that's not the way it works. But I appreciate you ordering the cookies. But I think he did ghost me, actually, because we didn't really talk. We talked for a little bit when he went back home. But it was like, when there's no consistency,
maybe he was a Gemini.
Then I lose interest.
Maybe he was a Gemini.
He could have been. Geminis, Libras. All kinds of people, y'all.
Honestly, like I was talking about how, again, effective communicating. That's all I'm saying.
Why don't men? Okay, why don't some men? What is the issue with effective communicating? And I'm gonna be honest. At this age range that we're all at, why are we still like you could be dead any day at this point?
Like I said.
Why are you still out here? Just tell somebody what you want. There are plenty of women who are perfectly fine and acceptable with sharing you with somebody else or even sharing you with another man. And I'm gonna be so honest because that's a real thing. And
I agree.
But I don't necessarily feel, sir, that it's always the women who aren't communicating certain things. I think a lot of it has to do with men.
Listen. So, now you guys know I'm always saying share responsibility. So I'm not saying women don't know how to effectively communicate. I'm talking about both parties.
Right. Okay.
They talking past one another. I say this time and time again on this podcast. Time and time again. But I'll admit that most men don't know how to effectively communicate.
Mm-hmm. Here's the problem. If you call them on it, now they're stuck in this ridiculous alpha male. I'm going to leave. I'm like, sir, you can't leave yourself out of a wet paper bag. You can't communicate with somebody. You can't. You're low effort. You're not doing what you need to do. And then you want to be the princess in the relationship. And like, well, I'm the leader. I'm like, what are you leading?
They're trying to be Simone Biles' husband.
Don't
Who is this?
even get me
They're trying to be
started.
Simone Biles' husband. Remember, he tried to say he was the prize. I'm like, sir, that's why we know you as Simone Biles' husband. We don't even know your name.
So let me ask you guys a question. Since I have all female panel here tonight, I just got a
Oh,
quick
Lord.
question.
You're a brave man. Kudos to you. I have to give it to you. You got some cojones tonight.
I've always had them. Well, let me stop. Now, but the question is, why do you think some women give their best to the worst men and then turn around and give their worst to the best man?
Oh my God. I think we fall in love with potential sometimes. At least I know for me, I have. Yes. Falling in love with the potential and not the reality.
And I'm just going to say it's trauma because most people will base their relationships based on the attachments they have with their parents or whoever was raising them.
Hers?
When I did it, it was because I'm gonna say guilty. Not all the time, but there were a time. It was because what I wanted in the person initially selected me as their wife, he selected me as his wife, but he didn't give me some of the attention. Now he did, but he didn't give me some of the other attention that the person after him gave me that I probably wanted. And as just being really superficial here when you're young, this has been over a decade or two decades. So I can say it was about the package. It was about the package. It was. I'm just being like, I really sometimes think there's a little dude running around in me, but he likes men. So the guy in me, no, so you know how sometimes men like kind of are more turned on by what they see and women by what they hear. Y'all heard that? So when I did have my time, it was more connected to what I saw.
I see.
The package in the man. And like it could have been, I'm gonna just use this analogy. It could have been a man that ain't had no muscles, you know what I'm saying? Had like a little bit of fat, and I would be less likely to, and he would be the one that's trying to be intentional, telling me what he want, and I'm probably in the gym wanting a guy that's lifting the weights to do the stuff that he's doing.
That's very
true. And that's a lot of people problem, that we want that person that is taking very good care of themselves to give us something that the person who probably ain't taking as good a care of themselves is willing to give us. And I had shared this with somebody. One of my favorite things to share with women when we talk, or just people who talk to me, it's amazing how you can meet somebody who has nothing to give and give you all. And you can meet somebody who has so much to give and don't give you anything.
What's your thoughts?
Well, I'm looking at the comments actually, because I want to make sure we get them in. Martine says, I'm good with never calling again because we're hopeful or pressed. Marcus says, many people listen to respond, not to understand, which is very true.
True.
Martine says, I did it because it seemed as if he was actually working towards improving his life.
Potential.
We're looking at the package. So here's the thing. I've never been impressed with how somebody looks. Like, I remember I dated people that look all different things, have all comes off of life. And I remember specifically when I first moved, when I first became single again, I was set up and this guy goes, well, I work for NASA. I'm like, okay. Like in DC, everybody leaves with their titles. And I'm like, that doesn't impress me. Right? What do you think on X subject? Well, I don't really think about that. I'm like, okay, never mind that. But too often we get caught up with they're very superficial. And our list, we've talked about the list before, what
Yeah,
should
we
be
did.
on our list and what's quite often not on the list. And I think a lot of the times we get so caught up in these lists that we can't communicate what should be on our list and what our actual wants and needs are versus what the superficial is.
Now,
Right?
can we say at this age,
Mhm.
there's still a ton of people at this age not effectively communicating
Mhm.
and has a superficial list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
I mean,
like that
people
70-year-old
are
man looking for a wife to settle down with. I'm like, sir, you're 70. You've been community peeing for
right,
50 odd years, and now you need a hospice wife. Like, please.
right. D, you hit the nail
Still,
right.
I agree with you on that, D. I agree with you on that. Now, I agree with that. I agree. I agree.
Hospice.
well, honestly,
That's
honestly, those guys like that, they're looking for a nurse.
Mhm.
They're looking for a
Yeah,
nurse.
yeah, but you know
They
y'all
try to
wrong
keep
for
it a
saying
buck.
that, but it's
They
true
keep it
though,
a buck.
right?
It's true.
Wait, say that again now?
I will get plenty of hate mail. I'm not worried about it.
Exactly. You get a ton of it. What you
I was
saying?
about to say. No, y'all know y'all wrong for saying that. It's true though, yeah, it's true. One of my coworkers, we always talk. She my friend too. We always talk. She said we talk about these two guys, and so we like, what's their problem? And it's we always say, we're right here. We're waiting. We is waiting. We just waiting for it. And so she said what they're waiting for is to get ready to retire, and they gonna be good for us, and they're gonna be on their way out of here, and then they're gonna be like, hey, can you take me in?
Hmm.
That's interesting.
Oh, listen, I've had
That's
I've
interesting.
had entire classes on it. You know, people people are tired, and women. People think that women will be unhappy if they're single in their older years,
That's
when
interesting.
statistically it's shown to be the exact opposite. Single women live longer than married women, and married men
There
live
she go
longer
with
than
that
single
bullshit.
men. Right?
I agree with I don't know the
That's
statistics,
probably
but
that's I agree with that too. Shoot. You
yeah, I agree.
you
I
don't have
don't
to
know
stress
the
over nobody else.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Shoot. Are
And
you
no one
kidding
yeah.
needs
me?
no one needs
Yes.
to be in a relationship to be complete. You're complete on your own.
There you
You
go.
do. That's right. That's absolutely right.
There you go.
Look, y'all. We back at the ER.
Wait, I think Marcus had a comment and he had said that many people listen to respond and not to understand. And that's true.
Yeah.
That's part of the issue with communication.
Yeah,
So
that
so
is
many people
hilarious.
don't know how to truly communicate. Like I tell people um, to read Nonverbal Communication. It's an excellent book, and it tells you how to communicate people without being defensive, without putting them on the defense. Because too
Exactly.
often, when you put them on the defense and you say, like, for instance, somebody is doing something you don't like, instead of saying, "Listen, you are doing this," they'll immediately react defensively. But if you say, "Hey, I think this could be done this way," then you may get a more open opinion, right?
Right.
But he's right. People do respond. They do listen to respond. That's a problem.
So we got 2 minutes. That time went by real quick, real quick.
Mhm.
So my question is, these two topics, same topic.
Mm-hmm.
What you guys get out of it?
Can I go first?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I like to say in my D's voice, the takeaway points. The takeaway is when we dating, we need to be clear. It's not bad to date. Dating is wonderful. So we don't label women serial daters. We don't label men garden tools. You know what I'm saying? Or Casanovas. They're dating with a purpose. They looking for their person. You know what I'm saying? They may not always say it, but now we know you're looking for your person. And you know if you're the person or you're not the person. You know if someone's interested or if they're not.
Awesome.
So in closing, you need to understand, where are we specifically? Are we courting? Are we dating? And you can't say after 2 dates, a great kiss and some good love making, we are now courting. Because that's not dating. I mean, that's not courting. 2 dates, a good kiss and some good love making is not courting. It's not. A conversation is courting.
Shannon.
I'm sorry, Ursula. I know I kind of I was getting a little amusement out of your statement, and I know it wasn't what you thought. It was just what came to mind. You said that men date they're dating for a purpose, and generally we know what that purpose is when they're seeing many women. It's not that they're just always looking for their wife. That's some men, not all men. So I don't want anybody attacking me. I'm not
Yes,
labeling
yes.
all men. I'm saying
I
some.
asked for your takeaway, Shannon. I asked for your takeaway.
But I needed to explain that because I did have I laughed during Ursula's speech, but it had nothing to do with what she was saying. She had some very valid points. So my takeaway is effective communication, and I do agree with Ursula. It's always about being very clear about what you want and what your intentions are, and really having some standards in place of things that you are willing to accept and not willing to accept, because how you allow people to treat you in the beginning is how it's going to go throughout the course of that all the way to the end. So, I'm not going to have a low bar, and I don't want low effort. I'm not high maintenance. I put just as much effort and do just as much when I'm involved in a relationship or with someone. But you've definitely got to put forth some effort and have some intention and be someone who, and my other takeaway is that we all have to make sure that we're really listening, not just listening, but hearing what the other person is saying. And also the other takeaway I have is not projecting how I receive love on how I give love to somebody else.
My takeaway is just like I wrote it up. What we doing? Coach D?
So my takeaway is you are worthy of love the way you want love. Do not lower your bar. Do not lower your standards. Do not lower your expectations. Ensure that you reinforce your boundaries and have deep, clear communication about what it is you want and need. And if somebody is not willing to do that, then move on. Don't just stick around because they got a good job, they look good in a suit, or they have a nice car. Move it along because you're just going to get hurt in the end. And we're not giving people grace to hurt you. That's not happening.
Good stuff. So it's 2 minutes after the hour. I want to get to these comments real quick, and we'll take care of some business real quick after that.
So before Martine says when we were talking about, and Ursula mentioned the package, or basically what men, the physical aspect. She said when she was younger, she dated a guy who lots of people would tell her, "Ooh, girl, he's ugly." She said they tell me how I usually have pretty men, and she thought that was foul. She says, Martine also mentioned, she says, "I'm not unhappy nor am I lonely." And she said, "While I'd love to have a wonderful man, I also have to have my peace." Well, hold on. I'm sorry. They're starting to come in now. I have to have my peace. She says, "I enjoy being in the presence of cool dudes and am fine with hugging and going home after a fun outing." And Marcus said they made songs about listening back in the day. Those songs don't exist anymore. The communication and love are gone. So we date.
There it is.
And Martine was agreeing with you, Marcus. She said songs are vulgar nowadays.
Let's hover around Marcus' comment one more time. Yeah. I like to just hear that one more time. That's some solid words.
I like that. That is real. Yeah, I like that. Who is this Marcus guy?
Were you all listening to the music back in the day? Because it wasn't as pure and church going as people think. I don't know what year you're.
Me and Mrs. Jones, and what was it?
There's a whole bunch of nasty.
Let's focus on Marcus' comment.
Yeah.
OD.
Y'all act like it was all sweet and sugar and.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I've heard some nasty stuff. Even from the 40s and 30s. More, yeah.
Let's comment. Marcus comment one more time.
He said they made songs about listening back in the day. These songs don't exist anymore. The communication and love are gone, so we date. What do you mean?
I could relate to that because
I want to know what you mean by "so we date." What are you saying? What do we mean by "so we date"? What does date mean?
Two dates, a good kiss, you go back to the house, and that's it. The relationship is over. That's what he meant. So we date. We don't go it.
Yeah, Marcus, if you're still on, let us know if that's what you're talking about. If you can just give us a quick.
So D, as we're waiting on Marcus to comment, tell the folks about the website and everything that got going on at D's Corner.
All right, so I actually have a free download on my Shopify site for everybody. It's called the Growth Mindset Cheat Sheet. So I'm going to start adding stuff. It's coachdlayler.myshopify.com. You can go and take a visit. There is a contact page, so you can actually email me on there. So you can't email me on my website. So feel free if you want to send hate mail. Don't bother me a bit. But I will be putting up more stuff later on over the next couple of weeks. and I'll be setting up a membership site where we can come in and you'll get me by myself once a week for an hour on a Zoom meeting, and we can talk about things, and I'll answer questions and all that great stuff. So that's coming up down the road.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Of course, there's no excuse.
I'm so proud of her.
You can catch her on multiple platforms. There's no excuse. You can catch her on the TK Shop on Coach D's Corner as well. So the TKShop.bio. The TKShop.bio. Catch her at Coach D's Corner and get all that good stuff. And Axe is a free download, right, D? The first
it's free right now.
Good
you know what that means. It's free right now. It's not going to be all the time, but it's free right now for a while.
Exactly.
Oh, I need the website again.
I'll let you have a little taste. You know how it is.
I wanted to what's the website?
My Shopify. My website's just dlayler.com, but I'll put it in
the notes.
Yeah, in the chat.
Okay.
All right. So Marcus may be gone because we didn't get a response, but Martine said songs are more of an innuendo back then, and she also said excellent. She said excellent, Coach D. So congratulations.
So of course you guys could catch the Conversation with Trent and Friends podcast with the lovely Shannon and Coach D
posting
every single week. Actually, you can catch it on Apple, Roku, all that good stuff, YouTube Live, all that stuff. Shannon can catch a boyfriend over there on the Apple or the YouTube or whatnot.
The haters gonna hate. Thank you, sir. They just make me strong.
I'll post a link in the Facebook group because they're not letting me post now for some reason.
So we truly appreciate you guys. I see actually on Apple, I see the subscriptions coming in. They're starting to come in. So I've been working really hard on that, trying to get those folks to subscribe to the Apple because it's a better platform and it's an array of different topics that we done over the past 2 years, going on 3 years now since I've been back. So I'm proud to announce that generational trauma that we did back in 2001 still sits at number 1.
2001?
I'm sorry?
2001?
Yeah, it was 2001 we did that. Y'all don't remember that?
Sir, I didn't know you in 2001. This is 2024.
It was 2000. No,
21?
it was 2000.
21?
21. I'm sorry. 21.
We know the condition again is the condition again. Yeah.
So really appreciate you guys for doing that. And that number, that generational trauma still sits at number 1 on Apple Podcasts on our platform. So really appreciate that. So it's an array of things. We're not just talking about relationships. We're talking about a plethora of stuff. We're not just talking about relationships. We're talking about trauma. We're talking about everything. Everything. Politics.
You posted all of them on there?
Everything's been there. I just opened it up to the public.
Did I sign off on some of these? Did I give approval on some of the content that include? Because there was some questionable things on there at times. Okay, sorry, that's an off-camera conversation. Okay, thank you.
It's all good. So any closing remarks from you ladies? And we can close out.
No, I gotta go get little man ready for school. So I hope you all have a wonderful week.
I hope you do too, Coach D.
Yes, I enjoyed the show.
Earth, thanks for being on here.
Appreciate you as always. And for the Instagram,
thank y'all for having me.
Appreciate that. And those numbers continue to grow. Really appreciate that. So until next week, we'll have another Messy Sunday here. You guys be epic.
Okay. All right.
Good night,
everyone. All right. Good night. Good night.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedie Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.